everybody, Rachel here with Meet Advisors, and I'm here with Eric Scott, CEO and co-founder of Dolphin Micro. Eric, thanks for coming in.
Sure, no problem.
It's great to meet you. I'm really excited to be in New York.
Yeah, it's a great place, especially this time of year. It really gets nice in, in the early spring.
Definitely, definitely. Tell our audience a bit about your background and how you thought of the idea for Dolphin Micro.
Okay, sure. So I was a computer science guy in college, and I worked at a little company when I got out and did mobile apps when mobile apps were kind of synonymous with Palm Pilots. So that was fun, but I kind of ran out of stuff to build, so then I switched careers and started a real estate company, and that got tiring after about 6 years, and I was looking for something to do. And in the meantime, I had some time off, so I was actually living on the beach out of a tent, which was kind of fun.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah, and I got in touch with an old college friend of mine, Jay, my co-founder, and I said, what are you doing? And he said, well, I'm working at this company, and I'm not having so much fun after 11 years. And I said, well, why don't you come out and live on the beach with me for a week, and then we'll drive back to Colorado together, and we'll figure out something to do together. And he said, okay, so we came out, and we kind of sat around for a week on a boat, because we rented a boat and went sailing for a little while. And we said, well, why don't we do a web development company? I said, I don't even know what that means. What is, because that was 7 years ago when the web was around, but I wasn't a web programmer, and I hadn't touched programming for like 6 years. And he said, okay, well, let's do web development. I said, okay, so we hung out at his house and searched for domain names and found Dolphin Micro was available and picked that and started. So that's how we got started. We kind of started on a beach, on a boat.
That's amazing. I love that story. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, it was unusual.
No. Oh, that's awesome. Very fun. Do you guys still go to the beach and brainstorm?
We don't go to the beach a lot because he lives in Colorado and I live here.
Okay.
But we've done a couple of boat trips together. We did one in Greece with him and me and wife and some friends.
Fun.
Yeah.
Very fun. So you guys do web development?
We do. We do websites and mobile apps.
Mobile apps, okay. And tell our audience an example of a company that you've worked with, if you can, and what you've built for them.
Sure. We've built a couple of things. We just got done building a ambulance dispatch system for a company called Mware out in Texas.
Fun.
Very cool. We've got another client called May Designs that does web to print, so she builds you can build custom greeting cards or photo books or custom notebooks on her website. So pretty cool stuff, and we helped her build most everything they've got. And they've been featured on Good Morning America a few times and even got nominated as, actually are one of Oprah's 50 favorite things in 2014. Cool. So it's pretty cool.
That is, that's really
we've done some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like really interactive sites.
Very interactive sites, yep.
Fun.
Product-based sites, right, where you do stuff on the website.
Right, and those are hard to build.
They are, they can be, sure. Yeah. They usually take a lot of engineering.
Right, absolutely. So, we were talking a bit before about what the web design and mobile app design space looks like, and I think we both agreed that it's kind of crowded.
It's a very crowded space.
How do you guys differentiate yourselves?
So I think we've been asking ourselves the same question over the last few years, and I think the way we differentiate specifically is we have a very narrow target market, right? There are only so many people that want to build something from scratch and have the money to do it. And that it's something that's complicated that we can't go find on a shelf and kind of set it up. You know, it's not a WordPress site, it's not an e-commerce site. So we've decided to focus almost exclusively on startups because they're always building something new and unique. And usually the ones that get funding have enough money to actually pay for something interesting to be built. So having such a narrow target market has really helped us connect with a lot smaller audience and become an expert in the field.
Right. And we always talk about how the website is kind of the face of your company, and your users are going to come, and if they don't understand what you do right away, or it's not very interactive or engaging, they're just going to leave. How do you guys combat that?
It's hard. Well, and see, I think that's one of the things that we look to companies like we look to marketing and design agencies to help with, you know, the piece that the design and interactive portion on the front end that gets people to stick around. What we specialize in mostly is the engaging parts of the product that the customer uses. So we try to make sure the product itself is easy to figure out right when you land on it, and there's stuff to do and start clicking on as soon as they hit the site.
Gotcha. Makes sense. So are you guys mainly working with companies in the New York area, or can companies from across the country contact you?
Yeah, we work with companies all over the country. We've got clients in Chicago, Denver, certainly New York, Texas. We've even got one in Switzerland right now.
Oh wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. It's a lot of fun.
And what advice would you give to an entrepreneur just starting out who doesn't really know anything about web design necessarily?
For the entrepreneur or for web design in general?
In general.
I don't know, that's a good question. I think for the entrepreneurial side, I'd say persistence is key, right? I think bad times are going to happen a lot when you're in business, and the companies that continue to thrive are the ones that persist. As far as web design goes, do small pieces and iterate. Because that's the one thing that I think usually the clients that are successful with us tend to do the most of. They try to take a small piece of what they want to build, because everybody usually has a really big idea.
Right.
Try to find the smallest piece that you can build quickly, build it, test it, see what happens, reflect on how things went, and then build another small piece and keep going.
Gotcha, makes sense. That's really exciting.
Thanks.
So yeah, you mentioned that for entrepreneurs you suggest recognizing that there are going to be some hard times.
Sure, there always are in every business.
What have those looked like for you, and how have you overcome them?
So, geez, where can we start? I mean, we've had a whole variety of things happen. We've had, big clients all of a sudden leave. We, after a while, figure out that we're not a good fit for a client, and we ask them to leave. So revenue goes up and down a lot when you're a small company, right? We're still 16 people. We're not, some giant company. And I think just having that will to keep going and figure out where the next deal is going to come from is always important. And I think most small businesses, the most important part is always making sure you're broadening the network of people who you know.
Gotcha,
right?
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely.
So talking to strangers is important. A lot of talking to strangers.
Networking is important when you're a startup. Very fun. What does the future of Dolphin Micro look like?
That's a good question. Well, so I guess we have an aspirational competitor, Pivotal Labs.
Okay.
They started like we did, I think about 20 years ago, something like that. And they were a small web development company that really focused on highly interactive things for startups in California.
Yeah.
They got to about 50 people, and then over the last 4 or 5 years, they just literally exploded. I think they're up to about 800 people now.
Okay, wow.
They got acquired by EMC, I think.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a path that we'd love to see ourselves on. They kind of really prided themselves on building unique software for people that wanted to change the world, and that's something that's been fun for us to do too. So I think that's a direction we'd like to head.
Awesome. Eric, tell our audience where they can find Dolphin Micro.
Sure. You guys can find us at dolphinmicro.com, www.dolphinmicro.com.
Thanks so much for coming on, and guys, check out more videos and blogs on Mute Advisors.